We made the theme new voices, new insights, new audiences because there was just so much new going on that we thought, why not just make the theme new? I think different from years past, we really focused on not pinning ourselves down to a single format or a single partnership or a single announcement. This was really about telling a story about how the Times brand is going to play much bigger in the future, and the businesses that we're heading into don't look like the businesses of the past. So the audio story, I think, with The Daily kind of taught us that we can do bigger things. And when we do bigger things, we make bigger bets, we compete on a bigger stage. And audio was one, and I think Michael Barbaro kind of teed it up very nicely when he met with James Comey for the interview. The lineup wasn't other podcasts. It was Meet the Press and MSNBC. And you can see the stage that we're now playing on, and you segue that to Sam's session on entertainment. You see the type of bets that we're making. So I know we didn't make a specific announcement there, but there is something big coming. And by something big coming in entertainment, it's not going to be, I think, again, in past NewFronts, this whole thing about, oh, it's got to be a digital-only video series. So you're going to release these 6 video series and take them to market. This is a much bigger story about us pushing into new forms of entertainment and new forms of video that will ultimately be on our platforms at some point.
Cool, and let's just talk about audio for a minute. The numbers are amazing. So talk about the podcast, The Daily, the numbers, how you're monetizing that.
Between 2 and 3 million listeners daily. It's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. It alternates, and as Michael said, it's one of the ones that's sticky, always in the top 10. So you think us, you think This American Life, but amongst the big players. I think the exciting thing about audio from an advertising standpoint is that it's working. So advertisers are returning. So we work with big brands like BMW and Google and Stella, but we also work with audio, I would say, endemic advertisers like a ZipRecruiter. And I think the interesting story within audio is that when you have these smaller companies, actually it's probably not that small, but smaller compared to Google, like ZipRecruiter, putting all of their money into audio, and they're returning over and over and over, it's showing that it's working. Because ultimately, companies like that have to drive sales and drive sales fast. So if it works on a sales basis, imagine what it can do from a branding basis. So I think we're only scratching the surface when it comes to audio. I think for us, it's about having that mainstay brand, The Daily, that we continue to lead with, and we'll continue to do some kind of smaller offshoots from that.
We hear a lot about audience buying and targeting and segmenting. What does that mean for the Times?
It was kind of our final evolution, and I made that point when I was on stage. If you look at the story that has dominated New York Times advertising, not New York Times as a whole, over the last few years, and I would say broadly the industry when it comes to publishers, it's been about creative capabilities. So T-Brand Studio, all of the other studios that have launched at various publishers, we're all in the content game. We're all now a creative semi-agency of some sort. I think what we've learned is any type of kind of production capability or any single product, inevitably, if you lead with that, it's going to get commoditized at some point. And I think what you've seen broadly in the content space is there's just so much. And what we've learned is without kind of the power of a great insight, you keep getting kind of pegged into that broad commodity zone. So we wanted to pull ourselves out of that, and the way to do that was invest heavily in an insights operation so that when marketers come in, we can lead with, look, here's how we can tell you about our subscribers, here's what's important in culture right now, and then here's a series of products that allow you to take advantage of that. And that ultimately is going to feed the core media business and all of our creative businesses with T-Brand and some of the other companies we've acquired.